a good mic for you here. Hopefully the audio will improve from here. If you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I've moved countries recently. The last 3 or 4 weeks on my channel were dedicated to that move. So this video has nothing to do with it. I wanted to bring it up because of this move, I kind of fell off track a little bit. I think that this whole moving process and everything leading up to it was very emotional. Just in general, I think my mental health I've noticed a shift in how I felt, in my behavior and everything. So I recognized it early on and I gave myself some space. So I didn't push myself to go to the gym. I didn't push myself to eat a certain way. I tried, of course. When I felt a really strong pushback, I would just let it go because I knew that I was going through a big change emotionally. This video is going to be me trying to get back on track. Now, I am not in my final destination yet. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that I'm moving 2 countries. So 50% of that move is now complete. I still have a lot ahead of me in terms of moving. But I feel now that I'm here and out of the country where I came from, which was very important for me to get out of there, I now feel much stronger. I think that I'm ready now to start getting back into my healthy routine. I will take a few days to go over my fitness plan, my nutrition plan. Before I jump into the rest of this video, I just wanted to mention that I finally created my social media account. So I'm going to put the handles here. Please go follow me on there. I will be sharing, of course, more content there. And also, while you're at it, just subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Alright, let's get into this video. Alright, so I want to begin with taking the measurements. Initially, I was thinking to check my weight, take the measurements, so circumference, and take a picture, like a progress video, not really a picture, but a video. There is a scale in this apartment, and I tested it before and it didn't work, so I thought it could be a battery. So I went out and got a battery yesterday, and I tried it again and it didn't work. So I think the scale is broken. I don't want to buy a scale. Also because I don't really care about weight that much. So all really that I have left is circumference and a progress photo. I'm jumping in to say that even though the scale in the apartment is broken, I did find one in the gym. So I think a couple of days after I filmed this part that you just saw, I went to the gym and I stepped on the scale there. And I was 100 kilograms. First of all, it was in the afternoon. I just had a pretty big meal about an hour before going to the gym. And then I had breakfast before that too. So I know that that's not like a very accurate representation of the weight. I also stepped on that same scale, I think 2 days later, and it was 98, which was yesterday, by the way. I'm saying this so that you know in the future videos, if you see me losing an insane amount of weight, it's not because I did. It's actually because my initial number was not very correct. But it was 98 kilograms. I'm going to include the lesser number just because I think it's going to be more precise. So I'm going to include 98 kilograms in this video as a starting point. I set up the tripod here right in front of the mirror. So normally I do it in my underwear, but I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it in my underwear. I'm not gonna put it on YouTube though. And now I need to take circumference. So I have the measuring tape. As you can see, I have skin tight clothes on because I want to be as precise as possible. I'm gonna go neck, 36.5. Left arm, 39.5. Right arm is 40.5. Chest, always the hardest one. Need to breathe in for this. 115.5. The waist, like the tiniest part here, 97.5. And then here, the widest part is the hip, 125.5. So the left thigh, 73.5, and the right thigh, 74. I think that's everything for the measurements. So measurements are done. I forgot one other thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to find a piece of clothing that I'm not fitting into, or like it's very tight, and I wanted to take that as a metric as well and kind of see every month if there's any difference and if it's like fitting any better. I'm trying to think if I have anything in here, because this is all the stuff that kind of fits, but I think I might have a pair of pants here that don't fit like perfectly. I'll put you here in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. All right, enough. Yeah, I don't think I've ever worn them, these black pants. Now they're definitely gonna be small on me. Yeah, and I think I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. I'm just gonna do these pants. I'm gonna show you what it looks like now. So you see, I can put it on, right? But this is like, it's not even coming together, you see. It's gonna be perfect because the first step I would like to close it, then the next step I would like these things to go away and for it to fit kind of almost loosely. This is the item and it's not closing now, so let's fix that. Hi, this is me from the future. So last week, everything that could go wrong while filming this video just in general did. So first of all, the mic that I bought, it was a new mic. I didn't test it properly before recording this video, and I've used it for, I want to say 60-70% of the video. And the audio, when I started editing, I was a bit heartbroken, so I decided to refilm some of the parts. Some parts I have to leave as is because I can't refilm these clips. And then on top of that, my camera just completely broke at the end of the week and I had to order a new one. So if the quality of the footage looks different, I don't know yet because I haven't edited the new footage yet. You know why. Okay, let's talk about goals, because I believe when you are undertaking a big project like mine, you need to have a goal in mind, a reason for why you are doing it, to help get you motivated throughout this journey. Like in my case, it's going to take a long time, and you know, if you're anything like me, you'll also go through phases where sometimes you feel super motivated to do these things, you know, to go to the gym, to eat healthy, and then other days you don't want to do any of it at all. But I think that having a goal helps in those lower moments when you are not necessarily feeling most motivated to do the things that you need to do in order to achieve your goal. I have to say that I do love my body in all its shapes and forms. It didn't come natural to me. I wasn't always like that. In fact, for most of my teenage years and in my 20s, I was very critical of my body just because growing up, that's what everyone around me was. I do believe though that part of loving yourself and taking care of yourself is taking care of your mind and body and making sure that they're healthy and they're fit. And wanting to improve oneself is a sign of love too. I think a pretty large portion of it actually. I also know for a fact that if I am lighter, if my body is not as heavy, if I am carrying around less weight, I will feel better. So I have two reasons, two whys, you know, for wanting to lose weight and to get it back into shape. One is purely aesthetical and one is about the way that I feel. And the aesthetical one is not only about how my body looks, but also about what kind of clothing I can wear. I'm not gonna lie, there are clothes that I would love to be able to wear, and I can, and I own them. Do I feel very comfortable wearing them? Not necessarily. Do I like how I look in it? Not necessarily. So this is a big part of that aesthetical reason. Also being able to wear the clothes that I want and feeling comfortable in it. And the second reason is, you know, how I feel in my body. Like I previously mentioned, at the moment I'm carrying extra 30 kilograms at all times. Just think about that. If you go to the gym, just imagine grabbing a 30-kilo dumbbell or a kettlebell and just carrying around with you everywhere you go. If you need to run, if you need to walk, if you need to go up the hill while shopping, while going out. So just imagine that. So that is my second reason. I want to feel lighter. I no longer want to carry around extra 30 kilograms with me at all times for no reason. And I also want to not sweat just because I'm existing, just because it's summer, just because I went outside, just because I walked for 5 seconds, you know? That would be amazing. I understand that some of it might be genetics, but I also believe that majority of it has to do with the fact that I'm carrying around extra 30 kilograms. So my long-term goal is to drop 3 sizes in my clothes. I go by UK sizes, so like 14, 16, 18. I think I'm 18 now, if not 20. I want to be 12. Anything less than that will not look right for me. I do enjoy a body that is a little bit, you know, that has a little bit of like curve to it. Okay, so now that we know our whys, let's move on to the next step, which is figuring out our nutrition and what I'm gonna do there, because that's a big one. I changed the angle for you a little bit, as you can see, so you don't get too bored. Okay, so let's talk about nutrition, because this is the most important part when you are trying to lose weight. It's not fitness, it's not anything else. There is a saying, you can't outrun a bad diet, which is very true. Take it from me, I actually go to the gym, I think 3 to 5 times per week, sometimes more depending on the week. I'm quite active. I lift weights, I do a lot of cardio, I dance sometimes, I do yoga. I try to be active every single day. And while I do see changes in my body when I train, when I exercise, especially when I lift weights, as long as I'm not eating very well, I will not lose weight. And this is why for me personally, nutrition has always been one of the most important, but also one of the most difficult things, because I emotionally eat. And of course I'm working on it. You know, it's not something that I've talked about it in my previous videos. It's not something that you just force yourself to do. I mean, you can try, but I think you will burn out and relapse very quickly if you do that. I have done it before, so that's why I know. I think it's a more psychological issue that needs to be addressed on a much deeper level. It has nothing to do with fitness and nutrition. It needs work. It needs a more like deeper understanding of what kind of coping mechanism it is, why I needed that coping mechanism when I needed it, and how to heal and therefore no longer need this as a coping mechanism. I'm obviously not there yet. I'm still working on it. That aside, it doesn't mean that I should stop trying. So for my nutrition, I will be doing 2 things. I will be tracking calories and I will be volume eating. So let's move on to this next clip where I will be talking a little bit more about, you know, what volume eating is and what I personally will be eating as part of that. It is hot today. I just came back from my walk slash small grocery stop up. This is not my big weekly shopping. It was just me exploring a new store that I haven't been to before, but I will show you what I got previously. So as part of me getting back on track, for my nutrition I decided to go for volume eating. Volume eating is pretty much, instead of eating high calorie products, you were instead eating low calorie products, and therefore you can eat much more of it, if that makes sense. A good example would be salad, you know, vegetables, some fruits, even though fruits can be higher in calories and sugar as well. But if I eat a huge massive bowl of salad with some cucumbers and I don't know, some protein like tuna for example, or even not, you know, like that would be less calories than me eating a small bowl of pasta, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? So this is volume eating. I can eat more, but when you look at the calories, it's actually a very reasonable amount. So I have lettuce, of course, cucumbers. Cucumbers I think is my probably favorite vegetable. Berries is another great example of volume eating, what you would want to include in your diet if you were volume eating. Corn cakes. I bought this zucchini because I have tuna and I want to make tuna cakes, and zucchini is part of that recipe. So something that I've never tried before, but I always wanted to, egg whites. So I actually saw them for the first time here and I got them because I want to try it with my eggs, you know, just for a little added protein. And we have some goat cheese. I also have some smoked salmon here. And then I got this lemon lime dressing. I also got peanut butter. This is something that I'm most excited about because I've been looking for this for like 2 weeks now, 3 probably. So I'm allergic to honey. I love chicken thighs in like a sweetish sauce. And because normally it's honey, I can't have it. I actually discovered dates syrup and I used it a lot as a alternative for honey. And so I started making my meat, not just chicken thighs. I started making everything. My salmon, I think I started with salmon and then I transitioned onto meat, and I used to make everything with it. And so when I came here, all they had in the shop so far, it was just honey. Maybe I wasn't looking in the right places because this wasn't together with the honey, it was more like with baking goods. Also something I've been looking for 3 weeks now is for goat milk yogurt, and I cannot find it. I'm convinced that it doesn't exist here probably, or if it does, in maybe some specialized shops. So I really wanted a yogurt, so I actually just got a regular one, which is not perfect, but I can have a little bit if I don't go overboard with it. Okay, forgive me, I'm sweating. As always, what's new really? I just feel like I didn't show you enough of the products that I would consume when I'm trying to volume eat. I have some spinach here, and again, that's a big one if you want to volume eat, just because it's very low in calories and you can have a lot of it. Another one that I've been loving lately is this purple cabbage. I added to the salads, just to the dishes when I want to add more vegetables. And then another big one, especially now in the summer, as a kind of dessert alternative, is of course the watermelon. What I love about watermelon is that it really fills you up. That's the whole. This is what I'm gonna be doing with my nutrition for this getting back on track process and project, if you will. And yeah, let's just get into it, I guess, now that I have everything that I need for it. Alright, so moving on to the second thing that I will be doing, which is the most important thing in this whole exercise, is tracking calories. Tracking calories is by far the most accurate way to know how much food you are consuming, and the most accurate tool to lose fat and to lose weight. I know that there are other factors that people are now debating, you know, insulin levels and intermittent fasting and how many times per day do you have to eat and other things, which, you know, I'm sure they are contributors. However, tracking calories is the only thing that you truly need to do in order to lose fat. It's all about calories in, calories out. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what else you do and what other areas you're looking at. So I know how many calories per day I have to consume. I'm not going to be sharing this number. It's obviously going to be very different for everybody. What I suggest if you are interested in tracking calories is, and you've never done it before, is to go online and literally Google calories calculator, and you will find a bunch of calculators that will ask you to input some information. They will ask you also about your goals. So if you want to lose weight or gain weight, at what rate you want to do it, and then it will tell you exactly how many calories you should be eating every day. That's pretty much everything that I want to say about that. I normally eat 3 times a day. That's what's worked historically better for me. And I normally aim at around 500 calories per meal. And then whatever I have left from that is, I normally don't like to have snacks, but I add a little something normally after dinner because that's when I crave something normally. And now let me show you what I would be eating, what would be like a typical day of eating when I'm tracking calories and also when I'm volume eating. Good morning. I thought that since I am starting this new healthy routine, it would only be appropriate to have a turmeric shot. I already had some water with lemon, so this is something that I want to have before I have my coffee. This is 24 calories. A little ASMR for you. I want to say a toast for growth and realizing that part of the process is failing sometimes, and it doesn't mean that the process needs to stop altogether. It's just part of the journey. Ups and downs, they are part of the journey, and for as long as you learn from the fail, quote unquote, and you get up and you move on stronger, smarter, that's all that matters. So that was super random. I think there's like pineapple and stuff like that. I can actually taste the pineapple. There you go, turmeric shop. So I start my day always with a coffee, and that's the first thing that goes into my fitness pal. And then a little bit later, I have my breakfast. This is not the typical breakfast that I would have. This is a fancier one when I have a little bit more time to cook. Normally I just boil some eggs and maybe have something else with it. Moving on to lunch, this is what I had for lunch, and it was around 500 calories. This is what I had for dinner. That's just an example. Of course, I don't have the same thing every single day. And this was around 600 calories. Sorry, actually I have to correct myself. The lunch was also around 600 calories. And for snacks, I would have a bit of watermelon or blueberries. I have a corn thing with peanut butter on top, or this bread that I made myself, and I put some also peanut butter and some blueberries on top. I like some hummus with maybe like a carrot or a cucumber. So yeah, this is what a typical day of eating would look like for me when I volume eat and track calories as well. So finally, let's talk about fitness. It's very straightforward. There is not much that I need to change, to be honest, because I already have quite an established routine. Almost immediately when I arrived in Lithuania, I signed up for the gym, which is just a couple of minutes away from my apartment, which is great. I do weightlifting 3 days a week, and then I also have yoga classes in the mornings twice a week. On the days when I'm doing a yoga class, I try to get out and go for a walk. One, to get more exercise in, because I don't think that yoga class is enough. And two, to explore the area. So I think that's everything that needs to be covered. Of course, there are other things that need to be considered, such as sleep, of course, and just general, I think, well-being and mental health. But maybe that's a conversation for a different video. For this video, I think that this is everything that I wanted to mention. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you watched till the end. Leave something in the comment to let me know if you've watched till the end. And if you're not yet a subscriber, consider subscribing if you like that kind of content. We also do hair and makeup and outfits sometimes on this channel. In fact, the next week's video is going to be me trying out 10 different hairstyles, and there is a very high possibility that I will also cut my own hair, but TBD. Please consider subscribing. If you're not yet a subscriber, I would really appreciate it. But most importantly, come back next week for the new video. I will see you then. Until then, have a wonderful week. Bye.